Hello and welcome to the Perth to Paisley podcast, episode number 94. And we've got quite a lot to talk about as in the week that has passed between our last episode, which, by the way, apologies that there was issues with that upload and hopefully that won't be a thing. This week, a lot has happened. So, as ever, I, Daniel McIver, I'm going to speak about it and I'm joined by my usual co-host, Adam Kennedy. Adam, how are you doing?
I'm in a fantastic mood, mate. I've literally finished up work today for 2 weeks. I fly off to Canada on the day of release, and Heart and Midlothian fixtures are round the corner once again. What isn't there to love? Life's good. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well, actually. Yeah. We should actually talk about that for a second because Adam's off to Canada, as he mentioned, but the podcast isn't stopping for 2 weeks. You can't get rid of me. I'm still here. So for the next 2 weeks, for the Ross County review and the Derby review, I will be joined by a special guest each week, which I'm getting sorted. So don't worry. Just because Adam's abandoning you all, I'm still here to provide the content.
I do plan on watching the games. Like, I'll chuck in my input, but I'm not going to be as much use as somebody else. And it's nice. That's what we want. This, like, we want some guests back on because it's been a while. I'm trying. Who was the last guest we had on? Was it Richard Cole?
Richard, probably, yeah.
Jesus, let's just move on.
Brilliant. Well, let's move on to the first point of business, which was another pre-season friendly, because we've been having loads of them. On the day of release last week, we played Preston, travelled down, and every single Hearts fan on the planet went, right, Ben Woodburn's going to be involved in some capacity. And of course, Hearts go down to Preston on the back of an unbeaten pre-season run. We're speaking about, doesn't matter about results, who cares about what happens in friendlies? And then Ben Woodburn inspires Preston to a 2-1 win. Ben Woodburn gets the first goal in the first half. Peter Haring equalises from the penalty spot, and then I'll be totally honest with you, I can't remember who scored the winner for Preston. But
I don't care. It's just the most Hearts thing. I just pissed my pants for a good 5-10 minutes afterwards. So us. It's entirely my fault. It's my fault. I ridiculed him week in, week out. The doppelganger comments were made. Mm-hmm. I've had a personal vendetta against him ever since, and this is a massive get it right up you from him to me. So I don't know what to make of it. I just found it hilarious.
Basically, yeah. The only positive was Peter Haring looked lovely, and it cemented my view that he is now our penalty taker this season.
Wow, even despite our new number 9 potentially vying for them, no?
Unless he wants them, I think it looks like Haring is on them. I think, keep him on them until he misses.
Yeah, it's fair.
And then if he does, he can be like... Yeah, exactly. He's never missed one. So
that's fair enough.
Just keep him on it. But anyway, who cares about Ben Woodburn and random friendly losses?
We've upgraded in number 9 since then.
Exactly. We're fine.
Yeah.
We've got much more exciting things to speak about, like squad numbers. So, the squad numbers came out. What day was it? Thursday or Friday? Friday, I think it was.
Question, maybe the Friday ahead of
I think it was Friday. Yep. So, squad numbers came out. There was some talking points about it. Obviously, Gordon stayed captain, which I don't think was ever in any doubt. I think that was always going to be the case.
I don't know why they needed to clarify that.
Yeah, you do that. Craig Halkett took over from John Souttar with the number 4, which was one of the biggest takeaways. So he's kind of like the starting centre-half now, as we expect them to be. Shanklin took the number we said last week we didn't want him to take, as he took 9. There was a mix-up when Hearts announced them where they put 2 emojis for 9s, and I really wanted him to be 99. And I was gutted that he was just 9.
Although that being said, Christian Ramirez, I think there's a debacle at Aberdeen, isn't there?
Yes,
regarding
exactly.
him potentially taking number. I'm not a fan of number 99. I think it looks.
I like it.
Is a grown man taking number 99?
What does that mean?
No, it's embarrassing.
Well, I saw somebody say that there was like a mix-up with numbers, and that's embarrassing for Hearts. But I think they were having a laugh because somebody went.
To be fair, I mean, we've got a track record for it. Do you remember the new stand seats?
Yes.
Just say we've never been the best for numbers.
Hey.
And Mad Vlad certainly wasn't good with numbers either. So
listen, we will get to admin-based football and errors very soon, right? Don't you worry about that. But the admin error that some people thought was you're missing number 8, which was the big takeaway for me, really, was that a very crucial and prominent squad number hasn't been filled yet. And Robbie's obviously been in the press this week saying he wants a holding midfielder and another creative attacking midfielder. So you have to imagine that they'll take one of them.
Yeah, it suits an 8 for me. I'm astounded that George Grant didn't take number 8. He's been given 7, hasn't he?
Yep.
I thought for all the world that Alan Forrest would get 7 and George Grant 8, but it doesn't appear that way. Alan Forrest must just love the number 17. I'm assuming that he's worn that at both Live Area previously.
I think so.
So, I don't know. The squad numbers are the sort of trivial stuff that if it suits a player or a player's done well in a particular number, chances are they don't leave said number.
Yeah.
Because you know what the superstitions are like in football. It's crazy, it's mental, it's weird stuff how your mind plays tricks on you. But here, I'm not really bothered. I'm like, if I get a new top, I don't get player names and numbers anyway. So I don't know. I just quite like us to have a 1 to 11 because I don't think we've had that for a wee while, have we?
I can't think of the last time we have had it. So yeah, that is a fair point actually, because we've always had like Halkett was 19 for a period of time, then was 26 and stuff like that. And
I hope we've I don't think the club have actually come out and said that we have retired the number 26. But
well, that was the other thing I was going to mention.
I'd quite like that for Zal. And Cochrane's what, 19? Was he 17 last season?
I think so, yeah. So Cochrane is 19, but I do remember him being 17 last season.
Yeah. So other than that, I don't think there was any real changes. Just gutted about Shanklin being number 9. But
yeah,
hey-ho, if his unofficial debut is anything to go by, then I could be warming to that.
An excellent segue there, because yes,
thanks very much.
Hearts finished their pre-season on Saturday in a very important game, Gary Locke's testimonial, as Stoke City travelled to Tynecastle. And I don't know how to put this. I expected Stoke to be the hardest competition we faced in pre-season. I don't know if that's because we're of a generation where for most our like football-aware lives, Stoke have been in and around the Premier League and were a mainstay like under Tony Pulis and stuff like that. So I just have in my head that's what Stoke are like. So I was expecting a battering. We almost couldn't have gotten more different to that, because I felt for 90 minutes, maybe 80 minutes with a 10-minute period where they got the foot on the ball, I felt we played them off the park.
I attended the game with my dad, and we've got a family friend that supports Stoke, so he was able to chum us and give us the rundown. It is mad. Like, we were talking about this in the pub beforehand. What you kind of alluded to there. Stoke first got promoted in 2008, and then were relegated from the Prem in 2018. So I'd have been 20, and Stoke would have been in the Prem for 10 years. So essentially, half my life was made up of Stoke being a top-tier team. And Mark, our family friend, isn't hopeful. His son Dan is actually headed to Millwall away on Saturday. So what a jaunt that is. Hope he's got his stab vest on with him.
Exactly.
But again, like, I think they're just targeting mid-table mediocrity, reading between the lines. Certainly the fans did not seem happy. He said they've not really impressed in pre-season throughout at all. And I had a wee nosy on Sky Bet prior to the match to check how likely they are to be promoted and relegated. And Sky Bet gave me the same price for both, 9 to 1. So that sort of tells you the story. They're just not very good, are they? I expected them to be made up of athletes, like you say, maybe not the most aesthetically pleasing side, but very much Pulis-esque rather than Mark Hughes-esque. You know, when he tried to make them play, and I don't know, they sort of shifted in style, and obviously then we all know eventually how it worked out. But I don't know. They're just like, even Dwight Gale coming on, You think a recognisable name, been in the Prem for a good few years now. Didn't really, well, obviously with the tune, but didn't really pose a threat, did he?
No.
I couldn't tell you any outstanding performer for Stoke on the day, if I'm honest.
Ironically, I felt their best player was their keeper, who kept them at, like, he made a couple of really big saves, but their keeper seemed to be the main focus of attack by their own fans, which I found really interesting. Like, I have no idea.
They've been linked with Xander Clark all summer,
yeah,
and he's still a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
So how's that not been addressed?
I have no idea. Obviously, it is still a friendly, so there's not much to read into it. So, but I wanted to focus on 3 players in particular, because one of them was the main talking point of the day. It was Lawrence Shanklin's unofficial debut. Adam's very excited if you're watching the YouTube version.
This is a signing that I've been wanting for a good few years.
So
fantastic.
We obviously won 2-1. Both goals coming from Shanklin. I was in a different area of the ground. Normally I'm on the left-hand side of the main stand. This time I was in P, so I was on the right-hand side. So I was right in front of Shanklin's first goal, where it's the luckiest finish ever. I know that some people will go, oh no, that's a striker's finish. He just moves his body in the right way and stuff like that.
100%.
No, he kind of just throws a leg at this and goes, oh, I hope something happens here. Because he doesn't even initially celebrate. He's kind of just like, that work?
Incredible intellect to divert it goalwards and get the better of the Stoke goalkeeper. Oh,
well,
great finish.
What was great intellect, and I had like an epiphany with his second goal. I was becoming really philosophical on Twitter because his second goal, first of all, need to mention Finlay Pollock.
Excellent.
Involved. Fantastic as well, because about 5 minutes beforehand he gave Boyce quite a poor cutback, and I was worried that his head was going to go down and he was going to be really he didn't want to get as much of the ball, but no, he actually used it to spur himself on. Did incredibly well, beat 2 players, cut it back for Shanklin. Shanklin did what a modern day forward does. He allows it to roll across his body, open up his left foot and aim for the far corner. It's quite a poor effort and it comes back to him. And what I then expected him to do is what I expect most modern 2022 forwards to do. Alan Forrest did it quite a few times in the game as well, where it comes back to them and they go, right, the angle isn't there. I'm going to take a couple more touches to try and create that angle, create that opportunity again. 100%, which makes total sense. I won't disparage anybody doing that. But Shanklin, in a very traditional number 9 kind of way, just went, oh, it's come back to me. I'm just hitting this hard at the target. It worked and we scored, and it genuinely was like, oh yeah, that's what like strikers do. They just hit it.
I could be rewriting history here, but I feel as though, and this has been the case, I think primarily in the championship season in Robbie's second spell, but even in his first spell, I felt as though there was often a reluctance for our players to pull the trigger. We seemingly work ourselves into grey areas, and there's just a sort of hesitance or lack of confidence for somebody to have a shot on target. So that was really refreshing. And look, it'd be really hypocritical of me to say that he's going to bag, 25, 30 a season, because I've slated everybody that gets excited. We've seen it many times over the years. A Hearts striker comes in, bags on his debut or bags early on. We think this is it. This is the answer to our prayers. This is the man to surpass John Robertson or whoever, equal that goal tally for a season. I'm just biding my time. That's all I'll say. I'm delighted with the signing, delighted to see him get off the mark. 2 goals on his unofficial debut at Tynecastle's fantastic. But I just hope that he's got a hat-trick save for County on the weekend, if I'm honest.
Well, the other 2 players I wanted to mention are not as advanced as Shanklin. They're both defensive players. I thought Cochrane had his best attacking game he's ever had for us.
Got a lot of joy against Harry Clark, didn't he?
Ironically, Harry Clark is now, by the way, 0-4 against Heart of Midlothian in terms of appearances. So
suck on that.
Get that right up here. But there is I always accepted that the criticism of Cochrane last season came that he doesn't do a lot going forward. He still got 3 goals, but especially when he was playing wing back, he seemed a bit more hesitant. It was more about like the defensive stability, which he is exceptional at. But on Saturday, I can't remember who it was, but someone on Twitter went, he's put in more crosses in that game than they did all last season.
I think it was Ali.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was Ali, because I got in a conversation about him with him, and I'm always impressed by Alex Cochrane. Right, I love Alex Cochrane. I get.
He even said that about your love for Cochrane.
Yeah, but I was very impressed with him.
Do you know what? I was really impressed with us in the wide areas generally.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Mackay would often drift in and Cochrane would be able to provide that overlap. I thought Forrest was more of a, how am I best putting it? More of a sort of chalk on the boots type with kind of Atkinson in support. If you looked at it, you'd probably say that Cochrane was the best in terms of service on the left and Forrest on the right, with sort of your 2 in support of Shanklin and wing backs. But I just thought we looked really, really controlled for the most part. I loved the fact that Cochrane and Atkinson were constantly looking to try and bomb on. Mackay can drift inside because he can pick that pass. I think Alan Forrest has a little bit of work to do in that sense. But overall, since he's come in, I've been really impressed. I think he's going to be a much bigger player than folk think for us. And elsewhere, sort of in midfield, Mikey Smith was in there, who I thought didn't look out of place at all.
Loving life, doing what he wants.
Great to see him, because there's been a couple of murmurs on Hearts Twitter that we might lack depth in that central midfield area. I think the likes of he and Andy Halliday, who can both operate at wing-back stroke full-back and centrally, it was great to see Michael Smith doing his stuff. I don't know if that's because he's trying to impress Michael O'Neill or whoever it is, anybody in the Northern Ireland setup, potentially at Stoke, don't know. But he was zigging passes, just looked really, really composed. And he's not even a central midfielder. You know me about Michael Smith, love that man. But yeah, in the wide areas in particular, really, really good. And just hope that we can provide sufficient service for Lauren Shanklin, Liam Boyce, whoever it is up front. It's looking promising.
Final note on that game, the last player I wanted to mention who I was most impressed with, barring Shanklin, obviously, but I felt Shanklin actually took like a wee bit of time to get into the game. He had a few wayward passes. He didn't look great.
But do you know what I loved as well, McIver, is he sort of had a couple, like, not dodgy passes and touches per se, but he's always constantly looking to play on the shoulder. I was watching his movement as well, and he's looking along the line constantly. He's sort of adjusting himself to get into better positions, particularly if Barry Mackay or Alan Forrest pick it up, because they are going to be the most likely, let's be honest, to slip him in. I think, and I know it's only a friendly fixture anyway, but I don't think it actually fazed him at all, that game.
But the main kind of person I was impressed with, which I get it, right? People don't understand why when Shanklin's coming on his debut scoring twice, I'm looking at the defensive players. I just like defensive players. But Kai Rolls, bloody hell was I impressed.
Yeah, he was good.
Just so calm.
One thing that shocked me is he's quite a big lad, yet Stephen Kingsley was the one playing centrally. It seems as though
he played two in each half. Him and Kingsley swapped at halftime.
But this is what I was going to say. Like, Rolls and Halkett probably won't be the one to distribute from the back. So I kind of get Kingsley being in the middle in that sense. I thought that Rolls, just because he's the tallest, it would make sense for him to be in the middle. Don't know where I've got that from, but that's what I was going to roll with. You're much more qualified to speak about this, but the bonus of having Kingsley in the middle is just can pick out anybody. I mean, he could find anybody on Buchanan Street on a Saturday afternoon, couldn't he?
Yeah.
What a guy.
Rolls went into a 50-50 challenge in the first half that made the most like deafening noise possible. Like he clattered the guy, and you heard the whole crowd kind of like react to it. Rolls just came through it as if nothing had happened, took a step forward and passed it off to Haring and then dropped back in. And I was like, I like you. That's what I want.
He's thankful nobody was sitting in the wheat field, wasn't he? Just so that noise was just built up even more.
Yeah, very, very impressed for what was his full first 90 in ages.
Not bad, not bad. He could prove a shrewd addition. Yeah, look, we've said don't care about results, but performances you can.
Yeah,
and that was a very commanding performance from the get-go on Saturday. Can't really fault anybody, and yeah, that's literally the perfect remedy for Ross County on Saturday. Couldn't have asked for a better match to prepare us for that.
Well, something else we've got to prepare for is Europe and the League Cup. So before we speak about our involvement, we kind of need to speak about how we got there, because for the first time in years, we've not been involved in early competitive football, which has been amazing.
The Lord.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly.
So, first of all, Motherwell had their conference first round playoff game at home to Sligo Rovers, and it did not go well. I remember last week that was
third qualifying round, yeah.
Yeah, because then if they win, they go into the fourth with Dundee United, and then they're in if they win.
Right. Or no.
So they invested Sparta Prague.
Did United go into the playoff, or did they go a third round?
No, they go. Dundee United go into the playoff, so they just have a one-off double leg tie kind of thing. Right. So I was there last week speaking about Motherwell being like, I think they'll have enough to beat Sligo, but they won't beat Sparta Prague. They didn't look like they had half enough for Sligo, and that was at home. They were very bad.
Dreadful result. That is up there in terms of. I know that they can and hopefully will turn it round in the second leg, but that's a stinking result, particularly when the fans are on Graham Alexander's back, like you would believe. Ironically, this could prove the worst thing that happened to Graham Alexander, in terms of Motherwell nicked it from Livingston with that late Lammy header, if my memory serves me.
Yeah, right at the very end.
That, European qualification could ultimately be what kept him in a job, given, the dreadful run of form before that. They qualify for Europe, and then in Europe, they could get punted out in the first round. So then where did the board stand with Alexander? He's already in deep trouble. There's another couple of Scottish managers that are already in deep trouble. How can we not even be in August and there's several managers that could be headed to the job centre soon? It's God bless the cinch. This league, Scottish football, is back. It's elite.
The main takeaway for Hearts fans, particularly named Daniel McIver, was that Aidan Keena scored the winning goal. I have a special place in my heart for Aidan Keena, and I always will do.
What could have been?
I thought he was going to be the next Jankowskis, the next Robbo. Yeah, I was convinced.
He's one of these under the radar ones. Previously how I was talking about. He wasn't given that number 9, but looked quite promising early on, and then you would pin all our hopes on him immediately. And he had a couple of decent loan spells right enough, but I don't know. Do you think Motherwell could turn it around? No,
I think they're going to beat. No, I just don't see where it goes.
That rank, because for us, Birkirkara was the worst.
I still don't think it's as bad as Birkirkara.
Hibs has been Malmo,
Kelly,
Connors Key Nomads. You had Aberdeen. Was it Sigma Olomouc? Was that it?
Aye, whatever they were.
They got battered.
I'd probably put it with Kelly and Connors Key.
Do you think it's on a par with Kelly?
Maybe it's a wee bit better. Maybe Kelly's a wee bit worse.
It's a better defeat.
Yeah, but I just feel to play like that at home is insane.
My pal Kieran said on TSF, he just thinks back to that Kelly fan, the video, and he's like, I booked Belgrade and everything. As the game beat by Connors Keogh.
Yeah, at least that hadn't happened yet. Unless at the next leg we get, I booked Prague and everything. We'll see.
I'm going to have to get on the board immediately. That's a disgrace.
Well, speaking about disgraces, the League Cup has been a fucking roller coaster, and it's been amazing.
Wait, hold on a second. Disgraces. The League Cup has been tremendous so far.
From our perspective, it's been tremendous. But for the teams in it, it's not. So immediately, 3 Premiership sides are out.
Who's got in the next round?
Well, we'll get to that. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We'll find out. I'll look at the draw and I'll work out who. I can't quite remember. So we'll get to that. It's all right. We're going to get beat off Kelly. I'm telling you now. So, St Mirren, St Johnstone, and yes, Hibernian didn't make it out of the group stages.
Absolutely pish.
Now, there's been, I was about to say controversy. It's not controversy. It's the clubs themselves try to make controversy to take away from how rubbish they are. We recorded the day before the Morton Hibs game. So, obviously, they draw to Morton and then lose the penalty shootout. And it's looking like, okay, they need Clyde to beat Falkirk to have a chance, but they still do have a chance. Whatever. Then the next day it comes out that there's been an admin error and Rocky Bashiri, who should have been suspended and was suspended, played. So as a result, it went to a panel and Morton were retroactively awarded a 3-0 win, which then knocked Hibs out, who ended up finishing third in their group and are out. Then St Mirren don't even have that excuse. They just actually lost to Airdrie and somebody else who I can't even remember, Arbroath. They lost to Airdrie and Arbroath.
Yeah, that's right.
They finished third in their group, and St Johnstone have just continued this downfall.
Hold on a second. In terms of worst results, St Johnstone getting beat off Annan on penalties has to be the worst out of that. League Two Annan topped that group. The first time a League Two side has ever made it out the group stage into the round of 16. I swear to God, if St Johnstone somehow stay up, that just speaks volumes about the standard of Scottish football.
Yeah.
They are 4-1 with some bookies to finish bottom. I am very tempted to lump that.
Yeah.
I can't see any other outcome. St Mirren will probably be down there as well. Hopefully Hibs are down there, but I can't really see it. Yeah, fantastic. It couldn't have gone any better.
It's been pretty great for us. However, in my opinion, the draw couldn't have went any worse for us.
How can Hibs be out before we've even kicked a ball in this competition?
In any competition.
That is brilliant.
It's class. However, yes, we got Killie at home in the draw. The other teams, before we speak about that, Annan are at home to Aberdeen, Dundee are at home to Falkirk, Partick are at home to Arbroath, Rangers are at home to Queen of the South, we're home to Killie, Livingston are home to Dundee United, Motherwell are home to Inverness, and Ross County are at home to Celtic. Now, apparently it's a controversial thing to say that I felt, barring County and Livy, that was the hardest draw we could have got. Because there was the mighty Falkirk and Annan in there, but I have a feeling they're a bit easier than Killie. My point was, a lot of people give me shit for it. A lot of people give me shit for it, suggesting that I was worried we were going to get beat. That wasn't my point. My point was just that, for God's sake,
worked out.
Of course, we get one of the Premiership sides when we could have got a League Two side, a Championship side, a League One side.
Can I just say as well, astounded to discover that Premier Sports have selected Rangers, Queen of the South, and Ross County Celtic. I mean, who would have seen that coming?
Like, us, Killie's a much better game. Livingston, Dundee United's a much better game. Motherwell, Inverness, Annan, Aberdeen, Dundee, Falkirk's probably quite... I literally think they're the two worst. Because it's like, 2 4-0 wins. Great.
Yeah.
Love that.
I can't wait. I'm definitely going to tune into the both of them.
Yeah. How do you feel about the draw, though? Because Killie's record at Tynecastle is exceptional.
It's a decent recent record. But I should have done this prior to, tonight's podcast. But the two teams, when they last went toe-to-toe at Tynecastle, were in very different states.
That's the 3-2 game where Joe Pereira just decided to give up his life.
Up the lineups for the both of them, because I'd love to see.
I'll do that now.
The changes. But my point here is we're in a far better place. Killie, I think Killie will be a surprise package within the Premiership this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Oh my fucking God!
I don't think it's too strong a squad. I just think it's McInnes. Just go and steal my thunder here. Go and read the team. Sorry,
I've just seen the teams, ladies and gentlemen. So for Killie, it was in goals Brunescu who got sent off. I don't even remember that. Stephen O'Donnell.
I remember him getting sent off, but I don't remember him.
Yeah, Stephen O'Donnell. That Del Fabro, who we were linked with.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Stuart Finlay. Hamalainen,
the Finnish left back, yeah.
Yep. Rory McKenzie, Gary Dicker, Alan Power, Chris Burke, Kabamba, and Eamon Brophy.
Nicky Kabamba, Jesus.
Yeah. It's kind of like a fine Killy team, like whatever.
That's all right.
Yeah. Are you ready for our team?
Joe Pereira
in goals. A.D. White at left back.
Christ.
A decent remaining three of John Souttar, Craig Halkett, and Sean Clare.
Souttar and Halkett were the centre-backs that night.
Souttar and Halkett were the centre-halves last night. However, remember, this was Daniel Stendel's optional defending era, where it was like Halkett and Souttar were told to just play forward, and this is Halkett. I remember
going to this game with my old man, and he hadn't gone to that many games this season. He was mortified.
A midfield double pivot of Andy Irvine and Marcel Langer.
Jesus Christ.
And then a three Boyce, and then a three in behind of Ewan Henderson, Lewis Moore, and Stephen Naismith.
Good grief. Wow.
Apart from the centre halves and the striker, would any of them get into the team now? Naismith generally would, but at this time his legs were falling off.
That was going to be my other argument, but no. Other than that, no chance.
Clare would be a good backup for Smith, in my opinion. But he wouldn't get in the first team. I prefer Clare.
Clare or Atkinson.
They're very similar players. Clare's probably better defensively. Atkinson's better offensively. Clare doesn't get into the starting 11, though, is my point.
No, neither do. No.
Jesus. But yeah, we've come a long way since then, so hopefully we can end this run.
And looking elsewhere, was Livy Dundee United, was that one of the ties?
Yep.
And that's good for us.
Same.
Yeah. Do you know what? I don't want to touch on the stigma around the League Cup, but I'm gonna anyway. It would just be nice to get the monkey off our back.
Yes, agreed.
If you offered me third, this trophy that we haven't won in mine or my dad's lifetime, and giving a decent account of ourselves in Europe, I'd take that. You say
you'd take that as if that wouldn't be an exceptional season. I would take top 6 and winning the League Cup.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
what you just said was like the best possible option.
Third, fourth.
Yeah, I value Europe a lot. Anyway,
yeah,
that's for the future.
Because let's be honest, we don't want to have to go through this group stage.
Yeah, right. Fuck that.
This is brilliant. This is great. It's so nice entering this stage.
It's class.
And watching, managers coming out with excuses. What about Stephen Robinson and Lee Johnson? What a couple of jokers.
Crazy.
Stephen Robinson has
What's happened to him, man?
He's managed in Scottish football for a considerable while. And only now, because St Mirren have been punted out, he starts to question the League Cup group format.
Nah.
How is it against Premiership sides? If anything, it's tailor-made for Premiership sides.
Tailor-made. That's a perfect way to say it.
It's embarrassing.
It's built for them. And again, they didn't even
pump them in Paisley the first time round.
They don't even have the excuse that Hibs do of like points deductions and stuff like that. They just actually got beat once.
We're genuine jobbers. And that being said, Airdrie, I mean, they've got a decent because they beat Motherwell last season.
Yeah.
So difficult place to go. A good thing they're out.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
we know what the history's like with us anyway.
We're not getting into that. Definite optimism. Anyway,
speaking about optimism, we will.
Speaking about optimism, we're now going to make our predictions. Now, obviously,
Jesus, define optimism.
Yeah. So this is a month before the end of the window. Loads of stuff can happen. Someday, opening game of the season could get a really long-term injury that is a crucial player, and that changes everything. So on the 26th of July,
more optimistic.
Yeah, exactly. On the 26th of July, these are our predictions. So much like the last couple of seasons, we have 4 categories and then what we think the league table will be. So we will start off with the top goal scorer for Heart of Midlothian this season, Adam Kennedy. Who do you believe it's going to be?
Got back my boy Lauren Shanklin, haven't I?
I've went the same.
Have you actually?
Because I'm like, If he isn't,
like Boyce will provide.
I think Boyce is going to be playing in the. I think Boyce is going to be like what he was with Sims.
Yeah.
So Shanklin's going to get all the opportunities. I will say immediately, if he isn't top goal scorer at the club, I think it's been an unsuccessful year for him. Unless it's like he scores 15 and then Boyce gets 20.
Yeah, it's very much dependent on, I don't want to say solely Liam Boyce, but you'd imagine he's the only other contender.
Yeah. If Boyce breaks the record that we jinxed him from doing last season and Shanklin gets 16, it'll be like, you're all right, Lawrence. You've done very well.
Imagine they get like 42 between them.
Boyce Why are you 20, saying this? Why are you saying this?
No, but Shanklin gets 22 and Boyce gets 20. And the last season, Boyce could have broke it. And the season he does, he's outshone by Shanklin.
They're now going to get 2 between them because you're saying that. You need to stop with that part.
Yeah, no, I've not been picking it up something rotten. I'm fully expecting Shanklin to get like 9.
Well, speaking about Shanklin, do we both agree with that? What do you think, or who do you think, will be the best signing? Again, this is a month before the end of the transfer window, so we could have brought in Messi, but until then...
It's going to be an offensive player. I know you love your defensive players. I'm going to say Alan Forrest.
Interesting. Fair play.
I'm going to go with it. I feel as though from the get-go, folk have just let that be like, oh... It seemed underwhelming to quite a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I think that's very disrespectful. I think he'll be a lot better for us than folk think.
I think that's very, very fair. I have went with Shanklin off the back that I've given him top goal scorer. I think if he becomes top goal scorer, I think it'll be hard to argue against him.
Fair.
But I think George Grant and Alan Forrest as well could be right up there. And Kai Rolls. Again, it's just been another summer where I'm happy with all signings.
Yeah.
It's weird.
There's none that we've really questioned as of yet.
Yeah,
I'm sure once the competitive fixtures are in full swing, we'll be throwing players under the bus willy-nilly. But
exactly. Well, speaking about players, next category is best young player. I have went with Connor Smith purely because I'm willing it into existence. I just want him to play. We see what he did at the weekend. We get a hat trick against Berwick Rangers.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. In the Lowland League, he's far better than that.
Yes.
Get him back to Queen's Park on loan, or I don't know, another championship contender. Maybe like to see.
Or
that.
Just keep playing regularly if we can't get another 10.
Or just, chuck him in there. Craig Levine did it, and he looked good for when he played for us under Levine.
He's literally never had a bad game for us. I'm saying, I'm dying on that hill. He's never had a bad game for us.
The whole thing's weird. Like, it seems as though we've kept him on to loan him out in the hope that he'll be absolutely ridiculous somewhere. Like, the duration, was it a 1 year we offered him?
Yeah, him and Henderson both got signed to a 1 year.
Don't get that. Unless we've got, we're looking at expiry of players, or players' deals expiring
maybe
next year. We've got targets in mind, and we'll just be like, "Oh, okay, out you go, lads," and we'll bring in whoever. But I don't know. It's an odd one, but I can't disagree with the Connor Smith shout. I'd like to say Finlay Pollock as well. Depends on if we can find a decent.
I think he's a bit
loan destination for 2, but he is behind Smith at this current minute in time. Yeah, fair.
And then finally,
sorry. Mm-hmm. I'm amazed that you've not said your man Cochrane, because he'll qualify. Will he not?
Well, this is the thing. I think he would qualify, but I view him as like one of the senior players now. Yeah. I meant a player coming in.
A breakout player.
Yes. Yeah. Breakout player is probably a better title for this award, actually.
There you go. Yeah. You're welcome, mate.
Breakout player.
I'm here for a reason.
I mean, you're away in the next 2 weeks, so I'm going to flounder without you. But
I'll try my very best to be on. Mm-hmm. My mic may be absolutely shocking, but it's for you lot.
It's fine. And then finally, player of the year before we go into the league table. Who have you got?
The trouble is, after such a shocking player of the year shout last season.
Can we just remind everybody who that was?
I don't want to have...
No, come on. No, we're not moving past this. Who did you say would be player of the year last season?
This was before, we made numerous signings. I will say that.
I still feel like it was a mental shout even then.
And it was prior to signing Barry Mackay, which I obviously mentioned to the club, and the club took it up. But
yeah, even then, it was still a ridiculous shout.
It was Gavin Steven.
What was that? No, what was that? What was that?
No,
That's not clear at all for people in the
sorry,
back.
Gary Mackay-Steven.
There we go. There we go.
I might say that Gary Mackay-Steven.
Are you doubling down? Yeah. Doubling down.
Just in the hope that we repeat this season, to be honest. That'd be great. Because I don't really want to curse anybody. Fuck it. I've stood by him for top goal scorer. I'll say Shanklin.
Interesting.
It's mad how I'm backing him for top goal scorer and player of the year, but
not best signing.
Just because I want to get in the fact that I believe Alan Forrester will be really good for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fair.
It doesn't make sense, but we're going with it.
I get it though. I'm going with that logic of I'm going with the person I said last year in the hope that it replicates. I'm going with Craig Gordon again.
Nice. We'll be fine. That's it, lads. Everything's okay.
We're getting third again. Don't worry about it.
None of your Premier Sports Group Cup pish next year.
Exactly. Right. The big one. The league table. Now, I'm going to... this is weird, right? I'm going to ask you it in fours. We're splitting into three, right? I'm wanting your top four, middle of the road, and bottom four.
Oh, is that the way that we're doing it rather than bottom up?
Yeah, we're doing top to bottom this time.
Top down, right? Okay.
Top down. Okay. So who's your top four at the end of the 2022-23 season?
I'm going with the one that I said on Talk Scottish Football. This was recorded over a week ago. I immediately regret some of these choices, but I'm a man of my word, and we're going to stick with it how I've got it. So, I've gone Celtic to retain the title.
Same.
Rangers second.
Same.
I might get a lot of hate for this. I've gone Dundee United third.
Same.
And I've gone Hearts fourth.
So we have the exact same top four. I'm assuming that we have the exact same justification in that we're going to be knackered, and I feel like it's going to affect us.
And United will get pumped out of Europe. They've recruited well. Jack Ross, a good manager at this level. Yeah, I think I'm really impressed with United, to be honest. I feel like they're constantly... Since the American owners have come in, it seems like they're trying to really re-establish their reputation, and they're not chucking loads of dough at it. It's just a steady ascension. I think United, they're another good price for some bookies. I think you'll get, excuse me, something like 12 or 14s for them to finish with, third, or how they caveat it, like SPL without Celtic and Rangers, basically.
Yeah. I think I want to say this on record now. I think we have the third best squad in the league, but I just think
I agree with
Thursday, Sunday is going to affect us.
And I want us to be there or thereabouts, ideally, after Europe's done.
Yeah.
Like, if we're fourth, fifth, having played all our group stage games in whichever competition we're in, I'm not going to greet about that.
I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. So the middle of the road pack, the bottom two of the top six, and the top two. This is where
we're going to differ in it.
Yes, almost definitely.
Right. So you want me to go from fifth to eighth?
Yes.
Fifth, I've gone Aberdeen.
I have also gone Aberdeen at fifth.
Okay.
Even though you a couple of weeks ago said that you expected Hibs to get it right better than Aberdeen.
No, I said Aberdeen to get right better than Hibs. You said Hibs over Aberdeen.
No, I didn't. I said Aberdeen. I listened to it today.
No, we need to go back on the tapes. I said Aberdeen are more likely to get right than Hibs.
I said, because I was going to have Aberdeen at third. But then I was like, no, Christ. I think they're just a wee bit off that. So I swapped him, didn't I?
I'm going to go back and listen to that after this recording. I'm adamant I said Aberdeen are more likely to get right than Hibs.
Maybe I can't remember. I think maybe I did see Hibs, and then this past 2 weeks has happened, and I was like,
"This is the thing."
Jesus Christ!
Because funnily enough, like talking about it, I've got Hibs in sixth.
So do I. So we have the exact same top six.
This. If Hibs finish top six, I'll be amazed.
I think they will. I know.
Do you?
Yeah. Sorry, that was it. I did say Hibs were going to get it right, but not intentionally. I said Hibs are going to get it right because they're just chucking everything at the wall and something must stick. And I think the thing that's going to stick is Eli Yuan. He looks good. Okay. And I think he's going to single-handedly grab everybody and pull them up to sixth. So we have the exact same top six. This is interesting.
This is interesting, but I feel like it's going to differ here.
Seventh.
I've gone, regrettably, Motherwell.
Yeah, we're different here.
You've gone Kelly.
I've not gone Kelly.
Have you not?
No, I've gone Livingston.
Oh,
I think they're going to have a very similar season to they did last year. Why do you think Motherwell?
I feel like Graham Alexander might get sacked and somebody will come in and do a Graham Alexander
I didn't even think
and galvanise them second half.
I didn't think of that. That's a fair
Because I think it's actually a decent enough squad. But he's really under pressure. Yeah. I don't know. They might persist with him and they might finish lower than that, but I can sort of see, because when he came in, they were 12th and were doomed.
Yeah.
And he came in and sort of steadied the ship. And
that's fair. No, that's fair.
I don't know. I feel like, again, they might be in a similar stage to us, sort of second half of the season, trying to salvage it and maybe push up a place or two.
Yeah.
Don't know. Could be off of that. But you've gone Livy.
I've gone Livy. I just feel that they've not had a massive turnover in squad. I feel like Martindale just gets this group of players. I saw he said that. He was like, this is the first time in his time that he's not had to basically get a new squad. But
you love Isma Goncalves as well, don't you?
I do. I think Isma's going to be good for. I don't think they're going to be in any danger at all. But I think
neither die for what it's worth.
Okay. I think purely financially, they're going to be kept out of the top 6, but I think they'll be better than the rest in the bottom half.
Okay.
8th.
Kelly.
I've also gone Kelly at 8th.
I feel like it could be higher because of McInnes.
Same. McInnes is the main. I'm
not impressed with the squad, but I feel like he could.
McInnes and Lafferty could just drag them up, basically.
I feel like they could get top 6.
If others collapse.
At Hibs or Motherwell or whoever else's expense. And I think that'd be a really solid first season back, considering they were absolutely ranked when they were relegated.
Yep.
9th, have you got Motherwell?
No.
Ross County?
I've got Ross County at 9th.
Oh, God.
Who have you got?
I've got Livy at 9th.
Okay. Fair enough.
Well, right. I regret that. I think I've put Ross County too low down. I've got, oh, God, this is a disaster.
Right, so you think Livy and 9th. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
I think Forest is a big loss for them.
That's fair.
Thanks
that
very much.
Fair.
That is very fair. Yeah, I'm not. I don't think they're going to be in bother, even though it'd be quite funny. I'd kill for a Livy St Johnstone bottom 2, but that's never going to happen.
I wouldn't. I have my bottom 2. I'd much rather see them the bottom 2.
Okay.
I just think Ross County will have a drop off. I don't think it'll be as severe though.
Oh, I've got mine quite severe. Right, 10th. Who have you got?
10th. I've got Motherwell. I don't think they'll be in the bottom 2, but I have done this with the assumption that Alexander's there the whole time.
Fair enough. Or that they make the change too late.
Yes, yeah, it's irreparable, but it's not so damaging that they go down. Who have you got in 10th?
Fair enough. I've gone St Mirren in 10th.
Really? Yeah. Wow. That's surprising.
Ross County, man, I don't know.
Is it because are you putting? I can see your logic. Is the logic is that they've lost their best player and top goal scorer?
They've lost their best player, top goal scorer. Joseph Hungbo, I thought he and Reagan Charles Cook were excellent on the wings.
Oh God, yes, Hungbo no back there either. He was on loan as well.
I don't know. Again, they're sort of similar to Kelly. I feel like they could be a couple positions higher because of Malky Mackay. But I don't know. St Johnstone are definitely going to finish bottom, and I beg that they do. Sick of going to McDermott Park. There's another thing that I'd love to see. Us actually win in Perth for once, but I can just see a Jamie Murphy winner, an absolute mile off, or Graham Carey, or Ryan McGowan. How have we not even touched on that?
Oh God, yeah, that's true.
Devastated to see Gowser go there.
I'm not. He's agent Gowser. It's fine.
Look, I get it, mate. You've got to earn a living, but
he's got to get closer to Tynecastle. Q8 isn't he fucking anywhere near Tynecastle? He's got to get back somehow.
Surely he had something better on the table than St Johnstone.
He'll go in and be their best player. So, fair play to him.
True.
So
again, I feel like if we went in, we'd be their best player.
That's true. That is very true. So you've got Ross County in 11.
I do.
And then St Johnstone bottom.
St Jobby bottom.
I've got St Mirren in 11th and St Johnstone bottom. And I think St Mirren will also get beat in the playoffs and go down.
Do you?
I think St Mirren look as bad as St Johnstone.
Wow.
I just think they're terrible. Like, I mean, I know they're now going to get top 4 at the expense of us because that's the way the world works.
Stephen Robinson's galvanised them.
Yeah, exactly. But I just think they look terrible. I think they look really, really bad.
Hey, have you got like a championship winner in mind and somebody to beat St. in the playoff? No, you not thought about it that deep.
Nah, but I think, like, for example, I think Arbroath will still be up there. I think Inverness will be up there.
Like
I don't know if they're both. I don't think Arbroath will win the league, but I think they'll be in and around the playoffs.
I think Inverness will be. Win that league.
I think Inverness will win the league as well.
I hope so.
I'm trying to even remember. Queen's Park might have a run for the playoffs. I don't know.
How do you think Dundee will do?
I think Dundee won't make the playoffs. I think they'll finish like mid. I think they'll finish like 6th or something.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, it'd be funny.
I could see them if it's a St Mirren Dundee final, that would literally
be the worst case
playoff
scenario.
final. Like we're at a loss either way.
Yeah,
like that would just be minging.
Not a fan, but yeah. So those are our predictions. Be sure to be laughing at them from the first week of the season till the very end.
What do you mean? We're going to get 12 to 12. One of us will get 12.
One of us.
It can't be that hard.
I'm pretty sure last season the best someone did was like 2.
It was you, probably.
Yeah, we had catastrophic.
I've tried to think about it more logically.
Same.
Don't have my don't wear my heart upon my sleeve. Just what I'd take from a Hearts perspective. I'm
surprised at how similar our tables are, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the bottom half glob where we differ.
Maybe so.
We're adamant that top 6 are going to be nailed on, and St Johnstone will just be shite.
So either we're both geniuses or as idiotic as each other.
It's definitely going to be the latter.
It's definitely going to be the latter. Well, anyway, this weekend, the team that Adam has picked to be much worse than they were last season, Ross County, travel to Tynecastle for the opening day of the season. Only bit of team news that we know for definite is that Robin Nielsen has confirmed that Lawrence Shanklin will be starting. He will be leading the line against Ross County. Opening day of the season, the game is sold out. We have confirmation of that. We've also seemed to be selling in sections K, which we never sell in ever. So that's great. How are you feeling about this one? Opening day. Are you optimistic? Are you nervous? What are you feeling?
Just spewing that I'm missing it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we should have enough. I hope we've got enough. I think. Do you know what? The opening day is always a weird one. Like I don't think you ever enter the opening day really all that optimistic, do you? I don't know.
Or you're stupidly optimistic and think you're going to win the league.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because this football club have just put me in a way of thinking where don't go in with your hopes high.
It cannot be this good.
Just accept a 1-0, a 2-1. Be happy with that. Take the 3 points. Move on to next week.
Yeah.
So, do you know what? This is before we blow them out the water and win 5-0. With that Shanklin hat trick.
What team would you start? What would be your starting 11?
I'd be pretty shocked if that team that played against Stoke, barring maybe one exception, I'd be shocked if that wasn't the team.
That's fair.
If I'm honest.
So that was Gordon, Halkett.
Gordon goal, Cochrane, Rose, Kingsley, Halkett, Atkinson, Haring, Smith, Mackay, Forrest, Shanklin.
I would go with that as well, personally.
The only thing I could see, and I did say that
Devlin's
Smith had a great game. Well, this is it. Or potentially a George Grant in there. Because if we're expected to break County down...
I'd like George Grant to start.
Yeah. I could see that maybe at Michael Smith's expense. Don't know what he's got in the tank. Big Pete and George Grant, I think, are more likely to start.
I really like that as a partnership because they're quite different.
Yeah. I could see that, but I don't know. I could be way off the mark there.
What is your score prediction?
I think we'll win by 2 goals.
But will we keep a clean sheet?
But I'm toying between 2-0 or 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1 Hearts.
Interesting.
Even though I'm more likely to write 2-1 for who scored and probably bottle it. I don't know. I'll say 3-1. I'll go 3-1.
I am also going with a 2-goal deficit, but I'm saying 2-0.
Fair.
So,
Hopefully it's comfy. That's all.
Yes, exactly. We'll see what happens. However, before we go, it is the best part of the show at this point. It's the quiz. So
your 50+ minutes in total nonsense.
Exactly.
This is what it's all about.
This is what we're here for. So I've went for questions that are based in and around the last week that we've had.
Oh Christ.
So, and opening day season stuff.
Oh,
so
right, okay.
Number 1, Lawrence Shanklin scored twice on his Hearts debut, we'll call it for the means of this question. Who was the last to do the same?
Jesus Christ. I have got a joke figure in my head.
Right. So who was the last Hearts player to score twice on their debut?
Was it Armand Nandwili?
It was Armand Nandwili in the game where he won me £85. Scored
Come
twice
on.
away at Raid. 2 goals in 15 minutes. I thought I'd give you a nice wee easy one.
Again, this is why I'm not, building my expectations, just keeping it calm.
So, last season, Hearts played our opening day opponents Ross County 4 times.
Yes.
How many goals were scored across all 4 games?
There was a 2 each, a 2-1, so that's 7, a 0-0, and another draw, 1 each, 9.
9 is correct, and those were the exact scores as well. The games just got worse. Started off 2-2, then 2-1, then 1-1, then 0-0. Right, they just became worse.
Yeah, have some of that.
True or false question next. True or false? Lawrence Shanklin has a 100% scoring record at Tynecastle in relation to his appearances.
True.
It is true. Could you name the other games he scored in?
He said he's barely played at Tiny, but he scored for Robbie Nielsen's Dundee United in a draw in the Betfred, was it?
Yes, it was. He's only played twice at Tynecastle, including the Stoke game.
I'm on fire here. Somebody get an extinguisher.
Smashing it. The multiple choice question is, how many goals last season did we score in the league? Is it A, 54, B, 50, or C, 56?
I was literally looking at the table the other day, and in my head, before you gave us the multiple choices, I was like, I think it was like the 50 odd mark, high 50s. I want to say, did you give me 56 as an option?
I did. C, 56.
What were the options again? Read them again, sorry.
A, 54, B, 50, or C, 56?
Is it 54 or 56? Oh, Christ. Oh, no, I'm going to kick myself. Oh, no, I'm filtered out. I'll go 54.
Oh, he's done it. 54. A, 54. Can he make it?
We weren't that prolific.
Yeah, exactly. Can he make it a clean sweep with the Who Am I? So
definitely not. At least if I have a guess, that may help.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Right. I signed from a Champions League side before joining Hearts. I scored 1 goal for the club. When Jim Jeffries took over, he had never seen me play and didn't know who I was, and is still an active player.
Crikey. Still an active player?
Yep.
You got any other clues about him?
Yes, I do. I was viewed as an internal political pawn between Vladimir Romanov and Shaba Laszlo. And then the final clue is I openly admitted that I was out my depth at top flight level.
Only scored once.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great Who Am I?
Thank you very much.
Only scored once. Was this playing a midfielder?
No.
Why I've got somebody like Ismail Bouzid in my head.
Is that your answer?
No, I'm not going to say that just yet. Was it a defender? Must be a defender if they scored once.
No, it was not.
Jesus. So not a defender, not a midfielder, but they scored once.
Yep.
When I say midfielder, like a winger, so is this a striker, a centre forward that scored one goal for Hearts?
It is a striker.
Shaba Laszlo. Who did Shaba Laszlo sign? Oh my god. This is doing my boxing. Is it somebody like David Vitavine?
Is that your answer?
No.
Okay.
I'm just speculating here. I'm trying to think. Shaba Laszlo. So Laszlo and Romanov. What was the clue that you said with Laszlo and Romanov?
He was viewed as an internal political pawn. I have the story that I'll give you afterwards when you get them / when I tell you, because it's mental.
I think the shite strikers that we would have had under Shaba.
I can tell you when he signed. He signed in 2009.
2009?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody like a...
Oh, sorry. There is another clue. When he was in Scotland, Stirling Albion were hit by an illness crisis, and he agreed to play for them as one of 2 permitted trialists in a league game against Falkirk, and he scored.
What a random piece of trivia.
Right, I'm going to have to hurry you.
Stirling Albion?
Yeah, Stirling Albion.
I said Whitavine out there. I don't know. Now I'm thinking of somebody like Mike Tulberg. Some other jobber like that. I'll go Tulberg.
Your answer is incorrect. It is David Whitavine.
No, it's not. Fuck off.
Yeah. Come on. 2 for 2 when he said it and then not said it.
That's denied me a clean sweep.
Yep. David Whitavine. Right. Here's the information about him. So he signed
the ultimate ghost.
He signed for us from Salzburg. Rebel Salzburg.
Trust your gut!
His only goal that he scored was in a 2-1 home loss to Rangers. Played 10 games for us. The political pawn was that Shaba Laszlo went to Romanov and went, here is a list of strikers I would like. Romanov went, I've signed you David Whitavine. And Shaba went, who? And that was it. Romanov, basically, it was the newspapers described it as an internal political pawn because Romanov was trying to be like, these are I'm picking the players. Then Jeffries takes over, and Whitavine said in the press that he went up to Jeffries to ask him why he hadn't been given an opportunity, and Jeffries told him he'd never seen him play and didn't know who he was. So he then went on loan to Morton, where in an interview he said that he admitted he felt he was out of his depth at the top flight level. As I said, he then went to Stirling Albion in a weird trialist situation, and he's still an active player. He's 37, playing in his homeland of Austria for Ritzing.
Whoever the hell they are.
Whoever they are. So David Whitavine has denied you the clean sweep. How do you feel?
Spewing.
I'm buzzing.
I'm raging. Why did I never trust my gut?
Twice you've said who it is without actually going with it.
That joke figure literally came into my head, and I still dismissed it.
I couldn't believe it. When you said it, I was like, no way is that a second guess. Boozed, then Whitavine.
David Whitavine.
Well,
we have seen some right shite up front for us.
It was the fact when you were like, he scored 1 goal, so he can't be a striker, and then just was like, oh my God, he is a striker.
Oh yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, because when we were growing up, Michael Stewart penalty was like our top goal scorer.
Exactly.
Jesus.
Well, let us know on Twitter or in the comments.
Annoying!
If you trusted your gut and when that was Whitavine. But a huge thank you for listening to a bumper show with all the predictions and preview and stuff like that. Adam, in his final appearance before going to Canada is not a happy man. But we hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. If you've been listening to us, if you're watching us, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Also, if you want to get in contact with us, we're at Perth Paisley on all the social media. We're also perthpaisley@gmail.com if you want to email us in any who am I's or just general points about the show. Adam, where can they get you to spam photos of David Bitterveen's face on social media?
I'm off to cry on Twitter, and you can get me there at Adam T. Kendall. What about yourself, mate?
I'm at DMcIver22. I'll be back next week with a guest and potentially a cameo appearance from Adam to speak about the Ross County game and preview the Edinburgh Derby, which is going to be some laugh. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Come on the Hearts!